Welcome to Just One More Watch. Welcome today to my full review of this, the BOLDR Expedition Eiger with full lume dial. If it looks familiar, you may well have spotted it in Lume Wars episode 3 that I made earlier on this year. It did okay, it didn't make it out the quarterfinals, but a lume dial is always a bit of a treat, especially if you're a lume pig like I am. I think BOLDR are one of the better kind of mid-tier micro brands in terms of their pricing anyway. They've got a really cohesive range and a very clear idea, I think, of exactly who it is they're pitching these watches at. I reviewed one in 2018, one in 2019. Looks like this is my BOLDR for 2020. To be clear, this watch was sent to me for free by the company. I don't have to send it back. Now, there's a lot going on here. Designed to replicate some of the look of a tank, named after a mountain, field watch elements on the dial, and a super compressor style inner rotating bezel. Looks like they're trying to cover all their bases, but is it any good? Let's flip the camera and find out. Now, I will obviously leave links in the description of the video to the BOLDR website if you want to check this one out in more detail. I would also suggest you check out a number of other YouTube reviews of this watch if you're keen. Like I said, there's a lot going on here, but BOLDR are very clear, crystal clear in fact, about what this watch is. An all-round daily beater. I have not seen those words on many companies' websites, to be honest. It's kind of refreshing to see somebody say, look, this is why we designed it, this is why we've put the watch together that way, that's what we want you to use it for. And like I said, I think they know who they're pitching that one at as well. Younger, outdoorsy, tech-savvy, socially connected gentlemen. Indeed, you will even find instructions on the outer packaging of how to record the perfect unboxing video. BOLDR clearly want you to help them with their marketing. And there are plenty of bits and pieces inside the package as well, all in a similar vein. There's a little kind of notebook here for you, and there's a bunch of other stuff that comes with the watch. Including again a competition. You can win $300 off your next BOLDR if you take some photos of the watch. Electronic style warranty card here. You have to register for warranty. If you do, you'll get 6 months extra warranty, taking the total to 30 months. And there's even a little game here you can play with your BOLDR Expedition, a maze for you to complete at your leisure. I wouldn't normally highlight the kind of extraneous bump that comes with these watches, but it's actually quite nice in this case. And there's even a couple of stickers as a bonus. But enough of the bump and the collateral, that's all very nice, but it's about the watch, isn't it? So 41mm in diameter, 47.5mm lug tip to lug tip, 40mm thick, 20mm lug width, and on the supplied rubber strap, this one weighs in at 120 grams. Not a particularly big watch, but a really solid feeling head of the watch. There's a lot of weight to that considering it is only 41mm and on a rubber strap. They've pitched it to you as an all-round beater, and I reckon this one could take a serious pounding, no problem at all. Stainless steel case, dual crowns and bezel, stainless steel case back as well. It's been coated to look like it's been blasted, if you see what I mean. I'll pop in some macro, some close-ups of the case here, and you can see, again, in keeping with that rugged all-day wear, it's not going to get scratched up nearly as easily as if they were high-polished surfaces on this one. It's a box dome sapphire crystal covering the dial, and plenty of blue anti-reflective coating on the underside of that crystal, as you can see from the studio lights. Dual crown compressor style case. The crown that operates the movement is down there at the 430 with the BOLDR logo on the end. The crown that operates the inner rotating bezel looks slightly different. No BOLDR logo, but you've got that little circular indent there. These things are indented in the middle as well. Both of those crowns with that orange highlight. The orange highlighting the paddle tip to the second hand, and there's some little orange markers on that chapter ring as well. Again, some nice little touches here. Both of the crowns are screw down. The one at 430, as I said, operating the Solita 200 movement, manual wind, and then pop it to the second position to adjust the date, and third position to hack the movement and to adjust the time. Screw that one back in when you're not adjusting the movement. The crown up at the top there at the 2 o'clock, again satisfying pop when that releases, and you can adjust the inner rotating bezel. So 200 meters of water resistance, dual screw down crown, screw down case back. You can take this one diving and use that rotating bezel if you want to, but more likely you're going to be using this one to time a parking meter or to boil an egg or whatever it is you're doing in a rugged outdoor style. Zoomed right in on the dial and it is all nice and clean and legible. Printed BOLDR logo, printed indexes, printed Arabics at 12, 2, 6, 8 and 10, and printed Expedition Automatic 200 metres, 660 feet above the index at 6 there. Now, as I said, field watch elements in the dial. We've got 13, 15, 17, 19 and 21 on the odd indexes, and a printed frame around the date complication there at the 4 o'clock. And a great handset as well, nice and bold and legible against the loom dial, skeletonized at the bottom end and with that orange paddle tip for a little bit more visual interest. Now, talking of loom, let's put up the loom video now. Superluminova all over the dial, all over the hands and all over that inner rotating bezel. Now the inner rotating bezel fades first. As I said, it's not really an out and out dive watch, but the loom on the dial just hangs on in there. It really is a little torch. I was wearing this one earlier on today, came in from outside and the thing was glowing away quite merrily on my wrist. So the tank style inspiration obviously on that angular tonneau style case here. Also coming from the rubber strap BOLDR branded, those are kind of tank tread marks on the underside and the BOLDR logo there as well. It is a slightly large buckle and tang, again with the BOLDR logo and a couple of large rubber retainers. I will talk about that a bit later on. No perforations either. Do bear that in mind. An all day, everyday wear rubber strap watch is going to be a bit sweaty in warmer conditions. Screw down stainless steel case back. All the usual specs around the outside and a really nice touch. That's where they got the inspiration for the maze game that I showed you earlier on. The big clumpy hiking boot footprint there embossed on the case back. As I said, very nice touches throughout this watch. And behind that pretty case back beats the Sellita SW200. No complaints about those statistics. Nice amplitude, minimal beat error, plus 4 seconds a day. Solid as a rock this one. 26 joule, 28,800 vibrations per hour, so a high beat, bi-directional winding, Swiss made automatic. Not a Swiss made watch though. As I said, this one comes out of Hong Kong, but these are great movements in anything under £1,000, I reckon. And on wrist, it doesn't really look or feel like a particularly big watch. Certainly doesn't look or feel like a 41mm diver does. I guess the inner rotating bezel just kind of brings the aesthetic of the watch down a little. Sits nice and flat, no curvature to the case, but no protrusion from the case back means it's pretty comfy. I do think they've overstrapped it to an extent and overbuckled it. There's a bit much meat underneath my wrist. That's going to appear in the moans and niggles section. Very legible though, white dial, black hands, black markers, super easy to see. And outside in some natural light, that blue anti-reflective coating doing the job it was hired for, making this watch nice and legible even in strong sunlight. That said, on wrist, no curvature to the case at all. Those kind of tonneau case, tank style case, barrel cases don't tend to have too much curvature, but super short lug to lug compensates for that nicely. So well made, solid feeling, nice touches in terms of the design, a little bit of colour here and there, and super legible, lovely loom on this model as well. But I think they have overstrapped this one. I don't mind a rubber strap that can be very comfortable for an everyday watch, a kind of GADA watch, but do bear in mind, like I said, unperforated rubber is going to be sweaty if you don't live in an appropriately cold enough climate. And I think this one is a bit thick, it's a little bit long, and those two retaining clasps and the oversized angular buckle and tang just make it a little bit chunky. I reckon this would be much better off on a thinner, slightly shorter and less intrusive rubber strap. And then there's the price. You know, if I haven't talked about the price to this point, then I am going to complain about it. $599, $600. $600 gets you the pick of the Hamilton khaki range if you want a rugged outdoorsy style watch. Now, I have no doubt I've reviewed a couple of Hamilton khakis and this one is better put together than any of them, but it doesn't have Swiss made on the dial and BOLDR doesn't quite have the same cachet as Hamilton, I don't think. So again, it comes down to who they're pitching this watch at. Are you one of those young, socially connected, tech-savvy, outdoorsy, rugged type of people? In that case, perhaps this BOLDR is for you. Having said that, I would maybe hang around, see if you can pick it up on a sale, see if you can pick it up at one of their annual sales. I would be much happier recommending this watch to you at $549 or even $499, which was the original pre-order price when they launched this one in the middle of last year. So there you have it, the BOLDR Expedition Eiger with full loom dial. If you're keen on one of these, this would definitely be my choice of colorways. I think the Lume dial, really, I haven't reviewed all that many of them. There aren't all that many of them on the market, to be honest, and it's super legible in daytime as well as nighttime thanks to the black and white contrast. Really nice watch, very well designed, really solid feeling, very well manufactured, plenty of nice touches, just maybe a wee bit more expensive than I would have liked it to have been. Thanks for watching, I'll see you soon.